The camera. We need like a setup where it like doesn't move.
Yeah. It just always stays there.
Because I don't know if I put that in the right spot every single time. At least you can see me. You can see Harmony. That is all. And I still don't know where that, like, how I look in that camera. We'll get smarter.
Welcome to BNH.READOUT, where the out stands for our unique thoughts. I'm B.
And I'm Harmony.
Hi guys, welcome to our channel. Yay. We're here again. You'll see us a lot because we love what we do. All right. Enough with the mushy gushy stuff. Actually, it really wasn't mushy gushy.
It was more like I don't know.
Oh, I was gonna put my socks on just in case I see my feet.
Oh,
you can't see my feet in this. So I was like, man, it's okay. Unless we put our feet up.
Yeah.
He says, Mama.
Mine are overdue.
Okay, sorry. I'm getting distracted a lot. I must be on drugs today. Not really drugs. Drugs. Okay, so today we want to talk about, so we had this kind of idea, and I want to take credit for it, but it really wasn't my idea. It wasn't my idea. It was Harmony's husband's idea-esque. Because what happens is when me and Harmony turn off, when me and Harmony turn off the recording, that's when everything comes out. All the juicy stuff, everything that's like amazing, like all the stuff that we wanted to say that we just didn't say, like all
good
of
conversations.
Yeah.
Always happen when the camera's off.
Yeah, it's like we need a camera on us 24/7 so you guys can actually hear what actually goes like through our brains. Because our mind and our process is like, I don't know, it's crazy. It's some crazy stuff sometimes. We say some crazy things, and half the time, I don't even realize that I say it until like we look at each other like, did we just really say that? And like, yes, we did. Yes, we did. And we stand by it though afterwards. After we really talk about it, we're like, you know what? That's like, it's pretty accurate.
It's legit.
Pretty true. But we had one of those conversations the other day. We were talking about fantasies versus reality and why people have fantasies essentially. And her husband was in the kitchen and we were talking about it. And he was like, you guys need to make a show called like Afterthoughts because like these are your thoughts after everything's done. You've already done everything and now you have these thoughts. And I was like, that is so true. So this is essentially our afterthoughts and we're coming back and we're bringing this into something to fruition where it's like, when we have these afterthoughts, we'll probably write down everything and come back and talk about it. And so these are our afterthoughts. And so that was one of the things that really got to us after everything was done was why so many people have fantasies about certain things and the reality and different things like that.
Yeah. How did we get to talking on that topic?
No. Yeah. Somebody
said something.
Somebody I know said something to me and asked me the question because he was talking about different books that I read. And of course I read a lot of dark romance books. And in those dark romance books, there's some stuff in there. There's like stalking and there's like unaliving people and different things like that. And it's like, we talked about how it's different to have a fantasy.
It's very different.
Versus it being reality.
Yeah.
Because there are some things in my fantasy. Of course it's in my fantasy and it's going to be there. And I'm not ever going to do that in real life. Will I ever want to? No. It's just not a thing that I want to do. And it's not a thing that I would want to do in real life. Like it just doesn't hit the mark either. If that makes sense. It doesn't hit the mark of me wanting to do it. Like it just feels nutty thinking about, I don't know, it just feels better in a fantasy.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how we got into that topic of it.
Yeah.
So then we started really talking about it because I was like, because the guy that I was talking to, he didn't understand. He didn't get, he's like, well, what's the difference? Like, why is it that we can have a fantasy and it not be reality? And so then that got us talking about that stuff. And so, which kind of brought up like different things. And so we came up with like, why? We kind of think.
Let's dive into that. Like, let's talk about that and figure all that out.
Yeah, we kind of got like it's like we have like 6 different like kind of topics on this, like kind of deep diving into it. So it's so interesting though, because like we all have fantasies. There's always going to be something that we don't normally do in real life that we want to escape to. So one of the very first one that we kind of want to talk about is like the purpose of a fantasy. And I actually kind of just said it like escaping. Yeah. Like, whoops. It escaped from me.
Her microphone.
Escaping is one of them, right? Yeah. So from like stressors of life and
your everyday just grind of life, it's taking a minute for yourself to just kind of step out and read a book, whether it's dragons or, you know, a book like Harry Potter or Lights Out, or what other ones do we have?
Like Butcher and the Blackbird.
Butcher and the Blackbird. Like, or, I mean, I'm currently reading Gothica. So it's a dark fantasy, like romance, you know? You're just stepping out of your reality and into
out of your norm. Like out of the normal everyday thing. And honestly, I think that helps kind of appreciate the normal.
Oh yeah, like your reality.
You're not burning out from that reality because you're stepping into that fantasy or that realm of what could happen in there but can't happen in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than watching a movie, you know? Like if you're watching like Lord of the Rings or something, it's no different. So you can read a book and step into a dark romance fantasy, or you can watch a movie and step into the Shire, you know, and be a hobbit for a little bit, or just pretend to be, you know, like just enjoy the movie just like you enjoy the book.
Which brings in like creative and like all the other stuff processing too. Like it's crazy because like we have like these things that we will watch and like they like, at least for me, like I'll listen to something and I'm like, this, like I love that for a fantasy, and I'm like, oh, that would be like super hot, you know, whatever. And I'm like, I want, you know, but then what's really cool about that is it kind of gets me thinking. And then I start thinking of different ways that to change it, to alter it, to be more geared towards mine, bringing that in, which brings that creativity, which ultimately I think that's how authors get their books.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Where people are just like, they read something and then it just develops into something else and it becomes bigger and bigger. So I think everything comes with that kind of that realm of fantasy. It just brings in that spark. And so I think that one of the reasons why we have fantasies and the purpose of a fantasy is to create that, because otherwise, like, can you imagine a world? It'd be like, what's that movie that I'm thinking of? Pleasantville. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I don't think so.
It has Paul Walker in it and Reese Witherspoon.
Paul Walker?
Yeah, so he's only, and Tobey Maguire, I believe. So he's only for like, he's like a jock in that. Anyways, it's like they start in a black and white.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So it's black and white and everything's, everything's black and white. And then once they finally get like, I'm going to use this as an analogy though, but like once they finally get their fantasies, they start breaking out of that black and white and seeing the color.
A little bit of color coming through.
Yeah. So it's very, very like that. Is I feel like if we didn't have these books, or we didn't have these things called fantasies, like in reality, it just wouldn't, I don't think it would exist. Honestly, if you think about it, like how can reality exist without fantasies?
Yeah.
So, which kind of brings into the second topic we have is like why fantasies are not meant to be reality.
Yeah.
Because like, again, reality may not exist without the fantasies, but they're not necessarily meant to be in reality. And a lot of reasons for that though, I mean, what would you think? What would you think? Like, why?
Well, I mean, just like during our conversation last time, I think what we brought up was the stalking. And it's, that's I think the difference between like reading it in a book and it being real life is the intentions are very different. In the books that we've read, yes, still stalking, no matter what color you're trying to paint it, is not okay, really. It's really not. No. It's not okay. No, like I said, no matter what color you try to paint it. But the intentions of real life stalking are never good. They're always ill-intended, and it can be scary. And I personally, being stalked when I was a teenager, it was harmful. Every action that person did to me was to hurt me, and so that reality of stalking is scary and harmful. And then when you read it in a book, sometimes it's not. And that's the fantasy side of it, is that it's not real. It's not meant to be real.
You can control it.
And yeah, it is controlled, and it's in your head through the fantasy book that it's still in your control. You're not out of control when it's in reality, or you're out of control when it's in reality, because it's not, you have absolutely no control over it. It's all the other person, and it's normally, most of the time, ill-intended.
So like lack of practicality.
Exactly. Yeah.
So essentially, like in our head, like in our minds, we're sitting here like, oh, this sounds so great, this is hot, or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, he's being nice, he's checking in on me, he brought me snacks. Like,
but then like thinking about it, where it's like, if that person is popping up left and right, and you're just like, this isn't normal. Like, I've told you, like, I don't want you in my space. Like, you're not supposed to be here. Yeah. Versus like in like any of these other ones, like the stalking, where it's like they pop up and then the girls are like, I don't want you to be here, but then they still show up and you're just like, I just said I don't want you. And they're, oh yes, you do. Yeah. It's different again in the fantasy of the book.
It's not reality.
But not book. Not reality. Not real. And that's why it's not practical though, right?
Exactly.
Because it's not respecting the boundaries of the person, and it's not, and then it's also hindering on their emotional safety. And so that's why with fantasy, like, you can have that emotional safety too, because it's like you can want all these things, but you're emotionally safe. Like, there's nothing going to harm you, because again, you have that control, and you can stop it at any time, and you can pivot, change, whatever you want. Yep. When it's happening in real life, like, you really can't.
You can't do anything. Yeah.
And so, like, kind of like when I was saying that, like, it's like, I, like, some of these things, I'm like, yeah, sure, it sounds really hot in there in my head. And, like, it's great. I can imagine it happening, but please do not ever do that to me. Like,
no.
Ever. Like, any of these positions too with some of these books, I'm just like, not Harry Potter. Like,
no. And so I do also like the consent too. Like, there's strong consent there, at least in the books that I've read so far.
I mean, Lights Out, there was like, they talk about, kind of like consenting and like stopping and all that stuff, which is great.
No, stop, which is immediate.
Yeah, like, which is a good thing. And I agree with that, where it's like, and I like that the authors put that in some of these books too, so that even in that fantasy, you all know that you have that stuff under control. Yeah, but again, it's still fantasy. Right?
Yeah, and it's also too, like, in the fantasy books, like, you don't even have to read it. If you don't want to, there's your control. You don't have to read that part. Yeah. If you don't like the spice, you can totally skim over it.
Oh, I actually have a friend.
You can read right past it. Yeah. You don't have to read it. Yeah. But in real life reality, if someone's stalking you, you can say no, you can say stop, you can tell them, go away. And most of the time, that's not going to work.
Especially if they have in their mind that you, like, especially if they're mentally unstable and they have in their mind that you want them to.
Yes, exactly. That's not, like, just because I read the book doesn't mean I want that.
Yeah.
Please don't. Stay away from me.
Yeah. Unless you're in a committed relationship with somebody and you've had that conversation.
Communication.
Again, it's the consent. Communication and consent.
Exactly.
And then I feel like, and that's the thing though, is that's like the communication at the beginning and having that conversation at the beginning is key too. Because sometimes, like, I know in some of the fantasies where it's like, I don't want to be asked every single time.
Yeah, no.
But again, that's holding to the communication and making sure that everybody is aware of the situation every single time, like prior to. Yeah. So if that person gives that consent, then that's...
Exactly. So like if there's a scene or whatever from a book, you talk to your partner, about whether or not you two want to explore it or not, if you're both comfortable with it or not, like that's the control part of like the reality, at least, if you wanted to entertain that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good
Communication is like number one.
Well, that's kind of like what we were going to talk about in 3. Because
it roll us into 3.
It does. Examples of fantasy that may be unwanted in reality, which is, this one, we have a couple of different ones that like we can talk about too. That's a little bit different than just talking. Yeah. Because like they have some that were like superhero fantasies, or, you put you in danger, like, and like be rescued by those people. Like you don't, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Where it's like, I get kidnapped by a mob boss and I want to be rescued by my superhero. Yeah. No, like sure, it sounds hot and there's someone kidnapping me and, but no, please don't. Like, I know I'm gorgeous and all, guys.
Like Captain America, like still, coming in and saving the day.
Sure. Well, and that's what I'm saying though. Like it's almost like kind of reality too with Harry Potter is like that stuff too. Like where like you want to be so fully immersed into these fantasies that your fantasy is blending in with your reality, and you just full on believe it. Yeah, it can happen. It can come true. Harry. Which is Harry. Pretty much, I'm a wizard too. I mean, I'm mentally unstable, so it doesn't matter. But still. But it just kind of puts in the perspective, like, of making sure that you also think of that health-wise too, mentally.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, we get obsessed about books, and Harmony just goes out and buys a lot of them. Because she's obsessed.
I will neither confirm nor deny that statement.
Regardless,
I will neither confirm nor deny. Nor on Mission Impossible on you right now. That's a good example too. Like thinking like you're some vigilante or some like Mission Impossible like person.
Like you're maybe even you are meant to be the heroine and to save the day. Like that is also that is actually a really good point. Very key, because like a lot of these books now are the heroine, like there's a lot of heroines in there that like, I mean, we essentially want to be sometimes because it's like, oh, that sounds great. Yeah. Some of them are a little whiny.
I recently like thought to myself the other day, it was actually a couple weeks ago, that I wanted to join a like martial arts gym and learn how to like fight, like actually learn how to.
Which brings us into our next topic, because our next topic is literally why we crave reality despite fantasies. Yeah. So now you're kind of craving to bring that fantasy into your reality.
My reality.
But it's still a reality, like a realistic thing.
Yeah, you could actually go and do that and learn how to, do mixed martial arts or, karate.
Like you could still be a badass. Yeah. But you don't have to be an extent of like, I'm going to go slash somebody with my weapons, my sword.
I'm not going to throw a dagger at you.
I mean, she may. I mean, if you were trying to hurt her. But
no, I'm not going to.
She has her little stars.
Yeah, little ninja stars. I'm actually getting really good at like throwing my throwing knives in Call of Duty. Oh. I'm pretty proud of myself.
It's a little different. Again, back to the fantasy.
I don't know. Like I'm throwing knives in Call of Duty now, and I'm taking guys out.
It's also so different because you're using a controller.
I am. Yeah.
Not actually your hands.
Yep. But I'm getting good at it in game.
You know what? I would really like to see her try to throw. Like, just to compare her and her
I've
character.
I've actually done throwing knives before. Like,
I want to see you do it just as good as you do in the game.
Little throwing dagger.
Yeah. You should do it.
Yeah. I would love to learn.
Yeah. See?
I'd love to do, like,
cosplay. She wants to be a cosplayer. See, there you go.
I have a couple outfits. So
I told her to wear one, but she didn't want to.
But I want to learn how to do like how to shoot a bow and arrow.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Know?
But that's like, again, that's bringing in that fantasy into reality, but that's still realistic.
It's still a realistic hobby that you can learn how to do.
Yeah, and it's not taking you in and keeping you in the fantasy. Like, sure, occasionally you can feel like a badass holding that bow and arrow and be like, yes, I'm Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right? But you're not going to be like going around literally telling everybody that you're Katniss Everdeen and that I'm here to like, I don't know, fight for my life in this world of hunger. I mean, whatever, Hunger Games. But that's what I like about that, though, too, is where the real stuff can become reality.
Yeah.
And still kind of give you that touch of fantasy versus, like, other different fantasies. And you still have that control.
A book, like The Hunger Games, and pretend, and, like, put in, like, you as in Katniss Everdeen and be like, yeah, I'm so, cool. I'm defeating all these guys in the games, and
or Violet Sorrengail,
or Violet,
throw the daggers,
knives, and all kinds of stuff. Like,
no. Well, that also brings us into when does fantasy become problematic?
I think when you fantasy like becomes problematic. I think when it takes over your entire
thought process,
your being, like your entire you no, like I am this, like that. That's one thing to cosplay and go to like a Comic-Con or to a Renaissance festival and dress up as your favorite characters, or like the enemies to lovers thing where they did the ball and everybody dresses up. Like, it's one thing to do that and enjoy yourself and have a good time and dress up as these characters and show your love for your books or your video games or your TV shows or whatever. Like, it's one thing to do that. Like, that's totally fun. I've done that, than to just completely immerse yourself into that place, person, or character all the time. And like you don't go by your real name, you go by something else, like from the game or the movie or whatever. Yeah. And then it's like, where are you, and where does the character like end? Like, where do you begin and where do you end? So that I think that's
like you're fully escaping the world. You're too escaped from, like, you're almost like disassociated from actual reality. Yeah. I think that's when it becomes problematic for sure. Yeah.
I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to be,
No, it's not. No.
It's more just caring in the sense of, like,
it's not. No, we don't say these things, especially on here. We're not saying this to, like, to shame anybody, make anybody feel bad or anything like that. This is just purposefully. I can speak today. To bring light to the realm of fantasy and reality, where it does happen sometimes. And sometimes those people out there do need some help. And it's just an advocate. We're just also trying to be an advocate and letting people know that you can still get help too. Like, don't feel ashamed, even if you have like this desire to be obsessed with all this stuff too. Like, if you feel like it's too much for you too in that moment, then like, there are people to help too. Technical difficulties, guys. Can't see your faces.
We're running on a budget.
Yes, we are. Goddamn budget.
We're running on a very low.
So, we were talking about escaping too much, and if anybody needs any help, or if you need someone to talk to, we answer our DMs on Instagram and on TikTok all the time. So if you guys need anything, like, we are here. And like,
even if you just want to chat too.
Yeah, even if you want a friend, even if you need a friend and you're obsessed with all this stuff too, like, I'm here for it. Okay. I really am. Like, I love all of it. I just don't want people to, I think majority of the time, the real problematic part is if they actually take the unaliving people a little too far.
Please don't.
That's the one where I'm like, if you want to be a wizard, by all means, be a fucking wizard.
Be a wizard.
Be that wizard. Be the best wizard you possibly can be. Okay, I'm a Ravenclaw, so I mean, like,
Gryffindor.
I get it.
Slytherin.
I'm sorry. Every time I hear Slytherin, I always hear a joke.
What's the joke? Humor me.
No, I'm not going to humor you.
Humor me.
Oh, I'm going to butcher it.
Do it.
No. It's about like slithering in her, like Slytherin. I'll slither in you.
I'm pretty sure my husband has said that joke.
Yeah.
to me.
See? But every time I hear it, I'm like, Slytherin in. Slytherin in there.
Yeah.
They're slithering inside. Anyway, sorry, that's my dirty mind. There's my fantasies coming out to light. Oh, damn, those dirty things.
Brenna.
Right? Again, that in that realm though too, there's like blurred boundaries and stuff like that too that we wrote down.
Oh yeah,
because it talked about.
I think that kind of goes back to the
So like all that, topic. So that the whole entire thing, like so again, number 5 was when does fantasy become problematic, and that's escaping too much unrealistic expectations and blurred boundaries like that.
Yeah,
that just if that stuff kind of happens to you, then I think sometimes you may want to take a break.
Yeah.
Because not only can you get burnt out from reality, you can get burnt out from all this other stuff, and you can spiral out if you're not balanced, which brings us to number 6.
Yeah.
So our number 6 would be the value of balancing fantasy and reality together.
Yeah. So make sure like when you're, we all enjoy, reading our movies or, other things, to take a break and go do another hobby that you enjoy, whether it's, rollerblading or skateboarding or, going into Disney with your friends,
right? Disney also, however, there's a fine line with Disney as well. I love Disney. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. Okay.
Go to Disney.
I love Disney.
Go to Disney. Whenever you want. You have permission.
I'm not unpermissioning them. I'm just saying that is yet again another fantasy versus reality. Shut up.
Like, I'm not going to tell you
don't go to
Disney.
Out on that.
But go to Disney. Go have fun.
Unless it's problematic and you have no money. If you have no money, then
do it anyway.
Don't be Harmony. Because we have to have healthy choices in our life sometimes.
They have salads. And they serve water.
Dasani. Do you understand? Dasani is not good for you. Well, it dehydrates you.
Like water fountains.
And I'm sure it's Dasani water. It's like a big giant pump of Dasani water underneath that. Dry out, bitches. Here's some salt for you.
Get thirsty. Woo. But yeah. Balance.
Yeah,
balance
okay. I'm not. It's okay if you want to go to Disney, fine. But balance between the two is imperative. It really is. Like healthy like it will bring in a healthier imagination. Oh my God, I can't even talk today. Yeah. A healthier imagination, which I mean, again, kind of brings everything back together because we talked about a little bit how authors create their worlds.
Yeah.
Is through fantasy. Mm-hmm. And because of that fantasy, we all can benefit from it and have like healthy imaginations because we get to be immersed in these books and we get to read them and we're like, hey, I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
So it kind of opens and expands our mind and our views on things. But there's a couple other ones that we had was like setting realistic goals.
Yeah.
So like if you feel like you are kind of stuck in the fantasy or even if you're stuck in the reality, kind of if you feel like you're getting burnt out in reality, I will say this one for sure. If you're feeling like you're being burnt out in reality, set a goal to read.
Yeah.
Like set a time where it's
or
like.
To write. Yeah. Or write a story. Like, write
something. Like set
draw,
that.
Color.
Yeah. Give your time to do that because like I've found for myself oftentimes is like when I get burnt out, it's because I'm not doing the I I'm not using that part of my brain that thrives. Like I need that to thrive. And so setting those goals can kind of help us bring all of that together to bring that balance in.
I think that too, like also falls like really closely with self-care, like taking care of yourself too. Like one of my things is I've been having a hard time going to bed on time.
I wonder why.
I'm staying up too late reading my books and then I'm tired the next day. I wonder why. Like, because I'm not properly balancing my time and I'm not going to bed at a decent time and I'm waking up tired and
Which
Being a mom of 4, it's hard. You got to get your sleep.
One of our topics too is on appreciating the present, which is kind of the same thing where it's like with all encompassing the self-care and making sure you're taking care of yourself and making sure you're finding that balance between fantasy and reality and not over reading all the time. Like it's okay occasionally to stay up and like binge read, which I did the other day. I actually don't do that. I stayed up to like 3 and woke up at 5.
Holy heavens.
And I had to take care of my kids. So I had to take them to school and everything like that. So it wasn't like I had, and then I had to go to work. So like find that balance though. Like find that balance for you and find what works best for you and make sure that you're also appreciating the present moment that you have too. Because like in this moment now, like I'm really grateful that we're here talking and being able to have this moment because I have, like for me, I need this time. Like I need this like emotional balance for me. Like I need to be able to see my bestie and come over here and do even just our podcast or even talk about books or just say something because of that feeds my soul. Yeah. And that to me helps me balance between my reality and my fantasy, all that stuff together too, because it helps me not burn out in my reality so that I can enjoy my fantasies. I can enjoy all that together and it just brings it into harmony.
That's me. She said my name.
I sure did.
That's funny is like there's I don't know. I'm sure the reading world right now is also like me. At least some of you, maybe not all of you, is obsessed with a sleep token right now. I am absolutely obsessed with a sleep token.
Yes, she is.
And he says my name in, what song is it? I think it's Damocles. Is that how you say it? Anyway, he says my name in that song, so I just want you all to know.
Until they look like harmony.
She's like, I fantasize.
He says my name.
And look, she's fantasizing that it's her.
He says my name.
It's my God.
He was talking to me
directly. Did he call you up and say, hey, Harmony, I'm going to use your name?
No.
Exactly. So fantasy and reality. Bringing it all home together.
Yep.
Harmony just proved my point for this whole entire podcast, guys.
Glad I could be of service. He still says my name. Just saying. Just want to rub that in.
No one ever says my name.
Brenna.
Except for Harmony trying to do
Harmony.
I can't do it very good.
You can't because Harmony is the best with Harmony.
Harmony.
Yeah.
It's all you can do. But yeah. So a couple of books that we kind of thought about for this kind of fantasy thing and all of what have you is Butcher the Blackbird, Haunting Adeline, Lights Out, and Harry Potter. These ones are good like showies of like fantasy and where it becomes blinding sometimes because like these two are more so the stalker dark romance isk. They are a little this is more of a comedy, this one's not. But other than that, like this one's a little more
definitely darker. This one's mild.
But again, stalkerish.
Yes.
Sounds freaking hot. Like when you read the books, it's like super hot, and you're like,
oh my gosh,
okay,
so
I'll take. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that for her. That's so nice. That's so sweet. Like that is just like super adorable. In real life, please don't come at me with that knife, or I will fucking get the shaky.
Don't stalk me.
I'm like no. And then like this one too, like the unaliving, murderish looking things.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't read that book, but they both do it, right?
I don't want to tell you.
They both unalive, right? I'm almost certain that that's what it is. Do you confirm or do you deny?
I would neither confirm or deny.
Ooh,
either.
She's using my.
Yes, I am. Because you want to know why? She doesn't like spoilers. She doesn't like things being ruined. And I'm not going to ruin it for you, although it's a really good book.
I'll read it soon. I promise.
I'm almost done with the third one.
Ooh. Okay.
All 3 of them.
I will read them. I promise.
You should read all 3 of them.
I will.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty stressed.
I legit went to Target this morning to go find the freaking book. I wanted the
boiled one.
Yes.
Yeah,
I should have bought it.
You should have.
When I saw it, and I did it, and now I'm heartbroken.
Bummer.
I know.
And then I saw it and didn't buy it. I'm sorry.
And so now she's heartbroken too.
I'm heartbroken for you.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
I should have. I will tell you that is literally, I don't get favorite books very often, but that is easily one of my top 3 favorite books.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. It was
good.
Really, really good book.
Good.
We talked about fantasies and realities, and hopefully you guys can take that into considerations when you guys are reading and take time to take care of yourself.
And communication is key.
Yeah, and consent.
Communication, consent.
And know your boundaries and know your worth.
Yes.
Like, know it. Like, you don't have to stand for any of it. Like, if you don't want, like, just see you later. You're crossing my boundary. Goodbye. Like, hold to that. They will try and make you feel bad, but don't let them.
Yeah. And if you unlock something from a book and you're like, hey, that's totally cool. You can totally explore that. Totally cool. Nothing wrong with that.
Or you don't have to.
And you don't have to either.
So just hold to it.
Yep.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.